Hi, and welcome back to Focal Point with AFR Talk. Brian Fisher is my name. My wife just texted me that she received a call from our Congressman, Alan Nunley, that he is indeed going to vote to defund Obamacare on Friday. He was one of the Republicans that had been kind of sitting this one out, was very wary about signing on to this effort. And my guess is his office has just been besieged with calls from just the grassroots constituents, and that's been given him the momentum, the boost that he needs to sign on to this thing and actually vote to defund Obamacare on Friday. Now, the House is going to need to stand firm. Understand that this is going to come right back from the Senate. They're going to deal with it immediately, and they'll put funding for Obamacare right back in it and send it back to the House. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be the time. That's going to be the time where we have got to take a stand. That's going to be the battle of the bulge. That's when they're going to throw everything they've got into the breach and try to intimidate and cow Republicans who voted for this thing, who voted to defund Obamacare this time around, put enormous pressure on them to fund it when the bill comes back from the Senate. So, like I say, this is just simply round one in the battle. You know, and the concern over these navigators, we've talked about them before, these navigators are going to have access to all of this private information. Florida is so concerned about this that they are banning navigators from all their state-run health clinics. They got 44 health clinics in Florida. They're not going to let these navigators within a mile of their health clinics. They can hand out brochures, but they are not going to be doing anything actively to help people find insurance because they know the risk of identity theft is simply too high. Then you got the Chicago Tribune. This is President Obama's hometown newspaper, and they blasted Obamacare. And here is just one excerpt. Illinois is scrambling to ready its online marketplace. So they're one of the states decided to do their own state marketplace. The state is hiring 800 temporary workers to help people navigate the confusing maze of Obamacare coverage options and subsidies through still to be tested, likely to be glitchy computer systems. What could go wrong? You know, I talked about this before. Even the federal people that are saying that are promising us we're going to have a secure database, this federal data hub, nobody's going to be able to get in there and pilfer identity information. They're saying we're not even going to test that thing until September 30th. This thing goes online the next day. They're not even going to do the first test on whether it's secure until September 30th. Now, nothing ever goes 100% the first time you do it. That's why you've got beta systems and all that kind of stuff. You got beta software. It gets tested. It gets probed. It gets prodded. It gets tried. It gets experimented with. And then they can kind of retool it based on nothing ever works the first time it's rolled out. So the Chicago Tribune is onto that. Look, hasn't even been tested. It's going to be glitchy. It's a computer system supposed to handle all of this information and be completely secure. And we saw yesterday that doctors are going to be ordered by Obama to ask very intrusive questions about people's private sexual behavior, and that's going to go on this federal data hub with no guarantee at this point that that information is secure. And, you know, you think about this. You know, the liberals are always the one that saying you got to keep out of people's bedrooms. None of your business. Now President Obama is going to order doctors to pry into the bedrooms of their patients under financial penalty. They won't get money if they don't comply with that intrusion. So Chicago Tribune is all over this. They go on, more than 4 in 10 Americans still don't have a clue that Obamacare is coming and that coverage is mandatory, according to a Kaiser Family Foundation poll released in August. That's 43% of the American people don't even know that Obamacare is the law. And here's a poll from CBS. More than 4 in 10 Americans have said they believe President Obama's 2010 federal health care law has been repealed, overturned in court, or are simply just unsure if it is still a law. That's 44% actually of the American people. So this train wreck is rolling down on them, and they've got absolutely no idea. They have been tied to the train tracks, this flaming train is barreling down on them, and they've got absolutely no idea that it is coming. New report out, by the way, before I go back to the phones, new report indicating that IRS employees were acutely aware in 2010 that President Obama wanted to crack down on conservative organizations and were egged into targeting Tea Party groups by press reports mocking the emerging movement. So this is Washington Times, Stephen Dinan. In other words, IRS employees knew they were supposed to crack down on the Tea Party. This was coming right from the top. Lois Lerner said they're dangerous. So very politically motivated. Obviously, President Obama seeking to cripple the Tea Party movement prior to the election of 2012, which raises questions. That, ladies and gentlemen, frankly, that was not a legitimate election. He was not legitimately elected as the president of the United States. And then more Muslim Brotherhood news. A senior Muslim Brotherhood official who until recently had been employed by the William J. Clinton Foundation was arrested in Cairo on yesterday, and charged with inciting violence. That's what the Muslim Brotherhood does. No surprise there. And again, as I've suggested, everything that President Obama is about boosting the Brotherhood. That's what he's done in Egypt. That's what he's done in Libya. That's what he's doing in Syria, to do whatever he can to help out the Muslim Brotherhood. 888-589-8840. Let's go to Devlin in Bay, Arkansas. Devlin, welcome to Focal Point. What's on your mind?
I'm glad you take my call, Brian.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to tell you what happened to my son just recently.
Okay.
He's 59. He's had Crohn's ever since he was, 18, probably a little bit earlier than that. That's when we found it out. And But here a while back, probably about a couple of months ago, he said, Mom, I don't understand what's happening. He said, I got noticed my premium. He said, it had gone down $150, which it's always been, really expensive. And I said, well, I've been hearing that Obama was going to send, some money to people. I said, but don't be fooled about that. I said, he may send it to you, and then you'll turn around and take it back, probably more. But then about a week ago, I guess, he said, Mama, come the first of the year, I don't have any insurance anymore. And I said, what? He said, they've canceled my insurance. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, honey, you've had that insurance for 20 years, and your health is still the same. I thought it was a law that they had to take pre-existing people. And he said, well, I don't know. All I know is that I got a letter, and they said I no longer had health care. And so I've phoned out how many times the people in Washington trying to get an answer to this. And I want to know if you can tell me anything. What has the insurance companies and ObamaCare got in common? Where is it linked together? We are paying.
Well, here's what's going on, and I'm guessing this is what happened with your son. I don't know this for certain, but what Obamacare has made a lot of health insurance plans flatly illegal. The most affordable ones, he's made them illegal because he is requiring, as of January 1, every insurance policy that's sold in America must cover a standard number of treatments and surgeries and procedures and whatever, and every one of those that it has to be covered by an insurance policy raises the cost of a premium. And a lot of these insurance plans were very simple, straightforward. They are now illegal. Back in 2.